The White House is asking Congress to approve a $29 billion relief package to help Americans affected by recent disasters, including those in storm-ravaged Puerto Rico. 2 weeks after Hurricane Maria made a direct hit on the island, Puerto Rico is still in crisis mode as it struggles to recover from a storm that killed 34 people and destroyed 100,000 homes, if not more. Right now, less than 9% of residents have electricity, food and water supply, alarmingly low, hospitals still operating under emergency conditions. Puerto Rico's infrastructure is so damaged it can barely distribute all the aid and supplies that are coming in across the island. Our next guest is a real estate and construction businessman from San Juan who also sits on the Puerto Rican National Infrastructure Council. Let's bring in AD&V President Ricardo Alvarez-Diaz. Ricardo, thank you for joining us. I guess my first question to you is, on a personal level, can you go down to the corner store and buy milk and bread right now?
Well, it depends on where you're. Well, actually, first of all, thank you for having me, and I appreciate your time. Well,
yes.
If you're in the metropolitan area, San Juan, those things are less difficult. I'm actually right now calling you guys from San Juan, and I'm actually overlooking the command center where a lot of the coordination for many of the aid is happening. So I can literally come down and maybe get some milk and some water, but there's not that much water and there's not that much milk. My biggest concern is outside of the metropolitan area, which, of course, is a little more difficult to get to.
You're in the construction business. You're an architect. You know what it takes to rebuild. How long is it going to take to get Puerto Rico back on its feet and in business?
Well, I have to say that the first thing and the focus is the infrastructure. As you well said, only 9% of the island right now has electricity. A little bit over 50% of the island has water. And most importantly, communication. Only 40% of the island has voice communications through cell phones. So obviously, that's a key part. If we can stabilize the infrastructure, communications, water, and electricity, we're going to have a much better idea of how long this might take. If the sooner we get some electricity, the sooner we're going to get the business running and getting closer to what could be business as usual. But if you ask me at this moment, this is going to take years. This is going to take a long time. The amount of devastation in the infrastructure is immense. And I do want to say that, I want to make the distinction between infrastructure and physical, devastation. I think that measuring the amount of fatalities to see how big of a catastrophe is or not is not the best way to measure this terrible catastrophe.
How hard is it going to be to attract business to come to Puerto Rico? There has already been many businesses there. There's a lot of drug makers have facilities in Puerto Rico. But how hard is it going to be to attract new business as you embark on this very long, drawn-out process of rebuilding that infrastructure?
Well, I think that if you look at our GDP, which is 52% of it is actually manufactured, contrary to popular belief that it seems that many people believe that it's tourism, which actually tourism is an important part, but it's only 7% at this moment. The manufacturing industry, the construction industry, and most of the other industries are going to move, and they're going to get back in business fairly quickly. I think that, of course, when you look at tourism, that's going to take a little while. Hotels, of course, we've been, what makes us very unique here in Puerto Rico as American citizens is the beauty of its nature, the beaches, the greenery, and it's incredible. It will be difficult for you at this moment to find something green. So I think that when it comes to tourism, it's going to take a little longer than manufacturing.
Ricardo, this is long before Maria. This is an island that struggled mightily with debt. Who do you blame for that, and what can be done to address that issue?
Well, to be honest with you, this whole issue about who can you blame or who can you not blame at this moment, I can tell you that after 2 weeks of actually a whole month of being hit by two hurricanes, because we were hit by Irma and then, of course, Maria.
Yes.
might not be the best time for you to ask me.
I understand that, but it is a big issue for the island. It has struggled.
It is.
There's no doubt about that.
I agree with you. No. But listen, I'm kidding. But I have to tell you, we're in great spirits here. But I'll tell you this. Yes, it is undoubtedly a situation that we had before when it comes to specifically the debt we had in Puerto Rico. The debt was, as you know very well, has been large.
Yes.
I think that we're going to look at the history of the economy of Puerto Rico is going to be viewed years from now as what happened before Maria and what happened after Maria.
Right.
I think the devastation is going to, even in a way, it may refocus and try to find solutions in its infrastructure. And as you know, the energy and the electricity was in dire straits way before we were hit by the hurricane. Well,
Ricardo Alvarez-Diaz, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us, and we wish you the best of luck as the island continues to try and rebuild from a devastating storm. Thank you, Ricardo. We appreciate it.